What's up? So today I want to talk about feeling anxious, about feeling calm, or not feeling anxious, if that makes sense. I dealt with this a lot, and it was actually a good sign, and this could be a good sign for you as well. But oftentimes, what do? We catastrophize, we sabotage, we shoot ourselves in the foot, and then we start this cycle over. And I don't want you guys to make the same mistakes as I did. So I kind of want to talk about my experience with that, how I felt, and what I started to actually do to give me more moments of peace so I could actually get used to feeling at peace again, if that makes sense. All right? But you know what time it is. Smash the like button down below if you're ready to kick anxiety in the butt. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you've dealt with this before. I'm pretty sure at some point you've probably experienced this. And it can happen in different forms and fashions. If you have health anxiety, for instance, it could be in the form of you feeling like you have a low heart rate and you jump to conclusions and you're like, oh my God, does this mean my heart's about to stop because you're so used to it being fast? Or it could just be you're not used to feeling calm. You're not used to feeling relaxed. You're not used to feeling at peace. We get so used to the racing heart, to the symptoms, to the racing thoughts, that when things actually start to slow down, we're like, okay, what's going on here? What's this about, right? So in the beginning, whenever I was dealing with my panic attacks, I had cardiophobia and heart anxiety. So this is kind of where it started. Towards the end of my cardiophobia stage, I would have these brief moments, and we're talking about anywhere from like 30 seconds to like a few minutes where I would kind of get distracted or forget that I had anxiety. And because I was distracted, or busy, my heart rate would start to lower and go down, which wasn't very often, guys. I'm talking about my heart rate was always like 95 to 120 at rest, and then 160, 180 during panic. And that's pretty much nonstop unless I was able to fall into a deep sleep or early in the morning upon awakening. But other than that, it was just fast all the time. So whenever I would get these brief moments where my heart rate would go down, it would freak me out. I'm going to dedicate a whole video just to this, by the way, guys. I don't want to spend this whole video on that, but that's how it started. I had heart anxiety, so I was afraid of something being wrong with my heart, so it started with heart attacks and everything. But towards the end, I started to worry that anxiety had weakened my heart and that I was going to have heart failure, or it was just going to stop. And sometimes I wouldn't be able to find my pulse. I'd be searching for it. I'm like, oh my God, I can't feel it. Not realizing, like, if my heart stopped, right, I wouldn't be able to move, or I wouldn't be conscious, right? I'd pass out or faint, fall out or die, whatever. And then my heart would start racing because I started to panic. And then, that should have been a sign right there that my heart was fine and that there wasn't anything wrong, or it wasn't heart failure or heart weakness or anything like that. It was just that my anxiety had lessened a little bit because of the distraction, right? Or my focus wasn't on it, or I was busy. And it's actually a good thing, but oftentimes whenever we feel calm or relaxed, we'll sabotage that situation, and then our anxiety will kick back in. Once I passed my cardiophobia, I still had my health anxiety and occasional panic attacks and everything like that. And then whenever I started to work on things to better myself, whenever I was starting to enter the recovery process, I had a really difficult time with being comfortable, feeling calm and at peace. Because, mind you, at this point, I had been dealing with anxiety for like 3 or 4 years, well, probably about 4 years before I entered recovery and started putting a routine and a plan together: diet, exercise, mindfulness, exposure, all that stuff. So I just was not used to feeling at peace or calm, especially towards the beginning. It was nonstop panic, nonstop symptoms, nonstop racing thoughts, negative thoughts, intrusive thoughts, catastrophizing. So I started to get some of these longer periods where it was like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe an hour. And then I would notice that I didn't have my symptoms, and I would just feel anxious about feeling calm. And it's hard to explain. And then I would go into this mode where I started thinking like, when are the symptoms going to come back? Instead of being gracious and thankful for not having symptoms in that moment, and seeing it as a sign that maybe I'm recovering, right? I sabotaged myself. I started thinking like, well, when are the symptoms going to kick back in? And then, oh, there they are. They would come back. And it's so odd. You'd think that I'd want to get out of the symptoms, right? But it's all I knew. I'd been focused for so long and a negative thinker for so long that that's all I knew at that time. So that's what I was used to. So oddly enough, whenever I would feel calm in the beginning of recovery, it would make me anxious. about the calmness, about being at peace, about not having a symptom to focus on. So I almost didn't know what to do with myself. So if you're dealing with that, you're not alone. But I'm gonna ask you to do this. Well, first I'm gonna start with this. If you're having a lot of those moments, it's actually a good sign, okay? That's a good sign. That means that you're starting possibly recovery. Your mind is calming down. Your symptoms are dying off, all right? It's almost like your subconscious is testing out this peace, right, that you've been trying to get for so long. So instead of sabotaging yourself in those moments, I challenge you to, when you notice that your anxiety or your symptoms have gone away or lessened or stopped, be overly thankful to your subconscious. Be gracious and say, thank you, subconscious, so much for giving me this moment of peace, instead of focusing on when are the symptoms gonna come back. You know what I mean? Think about the amount of negative energy and focus you put on the symptoms, right, or your thoughts. You put so much focus and energy. Why don't you put that same amount of focus and energy when you have moments of peace or calmness, right, or no symptoms? And I've talked about this a few times in my other videos. I've hit on it, but there have been times where I was overly thankful that my symptoms had stopped, mid-recovery, and then those symptoms just never returned because my subconscious realized, like, oh, wow, like he doesn't need those symptoms anymore. That just quick burst of positivity for me and gratitude for me was enough to let my subconscious let go, and then those certain symptoms never came back. It's amazing, it's mind-blowing, but instead of looking around the corner, when are they gonna come back, or this is great, but I don't, I know my symptoms are gonna come back, like, that's a horrible attitude, and your symptoms will come back. You need to put the same energy into those moments of peace and calmness that you put into the moments where you have symptoms, right? To start gaining some momentum. So if you feel anxious about feeling calm, know that that's normal, especially the longer that you've had anxiety. I know in the beginning, if I would have gotten some moments of peace and calmness, I probably would have been really happy about it. But the longer that I had it, I had just gotten so used to catastrophizing and being in pain and being in constant fear that I didn't know what to do with myself when I didn't feel those things, and it would ironically make me anxious again, or even more anxious than before, than the regular. So if you're dealing with that, take the advice. When you have those moments of peace, see it as a good thing, okay? See it as a good thing. See that your subconscious is giving you a break, and be overly thankful for it. You'd be surprised at how much good can come from that. You know what I mean? If you have calmness, just be thankful. And also, you could see it as recovery starting up for you. You know what I mean? Especially if you went from constant symptoms to now you're getting breaks. Be overly thankful in those moments that you're getting those breaks. Show your subconscious that this is how it's supposed to be, right? And that all comes from your attitude. It comes from your conscious mind, all right? If you made it this far in the video, guys, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for watching the whole thing. I want you to go down below and in the comment section, I want you to put in all caps, I will be thankful for the calmness. I will be thankful for the calmness. Remember, if you're interested in recovery and you're ready to work, you're ready to put a routine and a schedule into practice, please go down below in the description and in the first pinned comment and grab my course, Elite Anxiety Bootcamp. It'll help you get there. It'll help you step by step. It shows you what I did. It's my blueprint of what I did from the minute I woke up until I went to sleep to help me recover from anxiety. It's helping so many people. I want it to help you out too, so go check that out. Other resources are down there as well. Again, with this setup, I haven't even addressed it yet. I'm obviously in a different place. This is my living room. You can't really see anything. It's not this dark in here actually, but I'm just playing around with this ring light, trying to do different stuff. This may actually be a depressing setting. I don't know. You guys can let me know what you think. I'm gonna be playing around with it. I'm gonna be moving around in different areas. My office has that crazy echo, I don't really like that, and I had a lot of complaints about that. The kitchen, sometimes it's just too bright, so I don't know. This house is really weird with lighting, so I'm using a ring light. I'm probably gonna buy some box lights and stuff like that, and put them at different places in the house, and I guess we'll just figure it out. Guys, I love you all. Other resources down below in the description. Again, like this, please subscribe if you haven't, and I love you all, and until next time, keep fighting.